Creating success for your life can happen as long as you focus on the two important keys that we're going to be talking about in today's conversation. So let's do it. Welcome to the Dream Lifestyle Podcast, where the goal is to help you craft your dream lifestyle. In today's conversation, we're talking about two key elements that you need to focus on when it comes to creating success. When it comes to creating the life that you want, you're going to need these two things. And, I'm someone that is a firm believer, and I really had an epiphany with mainly the second one that we'll talk about a little later. But, success is one of those things that is different for everybody. And that's something I picked up on pretty early. Just the fact that what other people deem as successful or good, it's different. Everyone's idea of what success is very different. And that's based on there's different depths, there's different areas in which someone could deem as successful, right? For example, to one person, success could mean that you are financially well off. It could mean that you are, you have a lot of influence. It could mean you're a celebrity. That success is one of those things that I think every single person needs to have a clear definition of, so that way it makes it just a lot easier when it comes to, aligning your beliefs, actions, thoughts, and everything like that towards that intended destination. But that's just first, I think, is just talking about what success actually is. Now, I'm someone that truly believes that success really has to do with purpose. And in that, success is basically the manifestation of God's purpose over your life. And so the reason why I say that, I'll go deeper into that, is because, I firmly believe that God has created each and every one of us for a purpose, right? And because he's created each and every one of us for a purpose, that means that there is a mission that he wants us to carry out. And so success is essentially us fulfilling that mission. And so for me, when I think about just the space that I'm in, as a coach, as a media producer and everything like that, for me, success is based on the number of people that I'm able to impact, which is a purposed, measurable item, right? Like for me, I don't necessarily measure my success based on the amount of money that I make. I measure my success based on the number of people I'm able to impact. And so because of that, it makes it a lot easy. It makes it a lot easier for me to, make decisions. It makes it a lot easier for me to just simply take the right action steps necessary in order to move the needle forward. So that way I can actually impact more people. And that's really how I gauge and make decisions with everything. But the way in which you're able to do that, and definitely the way in which I've been able to do that, is because I have a clear sense and a clear idea of what success actually means to me and what success is to me. And because of that, when I think about my every single day, I'm not thinking about, well, how much money can I make? My thought process is, who can I impact? How many people can I impact today? Who can I help smile today? Because at the end of the day, it's all, for me, it's all a people game. It's a numbers and people game. So as long as I can operate in my purpose, that can be success. As long as I can as long as I lay my head down at night saying that I, help somebody breathe better. I help somebody with their mindset. I help somebody just, again, take a step towards their goals. That's a successful day to me. But because I have peace in that, because I know what success means to me. And so as I've been, on this journey with Craft Your Dream and then also my media company, 10 Media, I've been able to really see success. Like I've been able to see, people impacted and people really just enjoy and grow. More importantly, people really grow just from the things that, I've worked super hard and researched and everything of that nature to put together for people to, just get closer to the best version of themselves. But in that, there's a process that I had to go into. And, in the early parts of my businesses, in terms of, for me, my lane of creating success has been entrepreneurship. And I think that entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Not everybody's called to be an entrepreneur, because sometimes this is ghetto. But at the end of the day, we're all purposed to do whatever it is that's comfortable for us. All of us have different lanes. But for me, it's been entrepreneurship. And in entrepreneurship, I've been able to see success in the way in which I define it, in the way in which I measure it. Because that's also another side of success. It's not only just defining what success is, but it's also actually taking the time to figure out, well, how am I going to measure success? Because once you figure out how you're going to measure success, you're going to give yourself a nice way in which to, basically keep your emotions in check as you're going through the process to success. So it's like, not only do you need to define what success is, you got to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to measure it? So for me, it's like I said, impacting people. That's success. Success is people are being impacted, people are growing, people are realizing their goals, their dreams, and everything like that. But the way in which I measure it is based on the number of people that actually take a step towards the best version of themselves. It's the number of people that actually said, hey, that course helped me, that program helped me, that conversation, that coaching call helped me, whatever the case may be. On the video side of what I do, it's, a business owner coming to me saying, I was able to, amplify my voice of my business because of, your video that you created for me, so on and so forth. Like, that's how I'm able to measure my success. But even in that, my ability to do those things has been predicated on two main things. And the first thing and I've always been super focused on this, and I think a lot of that just has to do with my athletic background, is learning. Learning is, in my opinion, one of the most important pieces when it comes to creating success, creating that purposeful outcome, that purposeful output, simply because it just speaks to the principle be, do, have, which I've explained here before. But learning allows you to increase your level of being. And learning can be learning a new skill. It can be gaining more knowledge. And those are pretty much the main two ways in which those are two outputs that can happen as a result of learning, right? Those are two outcomes. Like, when you learn more, you're able to, do more. But within the learning space, there are different ways to learn. That's, again, hiring a coach, getting a mentor, reading a book, watching a YouTube video. There's so many different ways to learn. And it's really just about being observant. Like, I've been able to do so much learning. And it's funny too, because I always thought that in order for me to properly learn, especially in entrepreneurship, that I had to learn by, hiring coaches and spending money and all this different type of stuff. And I'm someone that reads books too. And I've definitely read some amazing books that have helped me a lot. But I've always thought, for whatever reason, I was like stuck in this tunnel vision of, okay, well, I got to pay somebody to really show me so I can really learn this thing. But then I had an epiphany, even on the learning side of it, where I was like, you know what? Yes, I do need to learn more so that way I can improve my skills and, gain more knowledge and all this type of stuff. But I don't necessarily need to pay thousands of dollars in order to learn from somebody. Like, that doesn't need to be my method of learning. I can learn just by paying attention and being way more observant than I had been. And that really shifted things for me. So, like, one of the things that I did that was super helpful in terms of like the way in which I learned, it was, one, I got clear on, okay, what do I actually want to learn? Like, it wasn't like I didn't want to just, look at the entire program of entrepreneurship or running a business and be like, well, I just want to learn it all. Like, I got first, like, this is just what I did. I got super specific with, okay, this is what I actually want to learn. Like, I want to learn how to create better offers. I want to learn how to market digitally. I want to learn how to communicate more effectively. So for me, it was more so on the marketing side, where I wanted to learn how to communicate way more effectively. I wanted to learn what systems were in place in other businesses that were basically like my business. And because of that, because I just said, you know what, rather than me try to pay thousands of dollars to learn this information, which would have been nice, why don't I just increase my level of observation and just see how other people are doing it really, really well, and see if I can do my own research to see if there's any commonalities, to see if there's any tweaks or differences that I could make within my own business based off of just what other people are doing. And that was a really great move, just because my ability to communicate shot out of the roof. Like, it went through the roof once I actually started observing. right? And just really paying attention as opposed to just like, seeing an ad and just be like, oh, that's cool. Okay, they're selling that. Or, going on somebody's website. Oh, okay, cool. Like I really started to study. And look at the details of things. And once I started to see and compare in my own mind, knowing, okay, well, this is what my website looks like. This is what their website looks like. Let me see what are the differences, and then what are the differences that I can make. And I'll just see if I can just keep making those changes. And, and for me, my focus was systems for like the last, I would say about maybe 4 months. Like this, from the beginning of this year, I've really just been like, okay, I want to figure out what systems need to be in place in my businesses so that way I can accomplish the level of success that I know that this vehicle of my business can do. And so for me, it was systems. So I was really paying close attention to the systems of other businesses. If you're looking for accountability, you need to check out the Dream Society. For $20 a month, you can join a community that will give you the support that you need and the accountability that you need to hit your goals every single week. And for $20 a month, it is the best investment that you will ever make in yourself. So I want you to go to dreamsociety.info right now to join, and let's get back to the episode. Be clear, I'm using myself as an example in business and entrepreneurship, but this can apply to anything. This can apply to your finances. This can apply to your physical health. This can apply to just your day-to-day, your personal life, whatever it is. But it's more so the idea that if you want to create success, it's about you taking the time, the initiative to learn. It's you taking the initiative to get very clear on what you actually want to learn, and then being super observant and taking advantage of other tools that are available to you when it comes to learning. Like I said, watching YouTube, reading books, buying courses. I've bought courses and it's taught me something. Some were really good, some were trash, but I'm telling you, I was able to get information from it because there's really no such thing when in the personal development world, it can be personal development, professional development, whatever. It's never really a waste of money, just for the simple fact that you're always going to learn something. Now, what you learn, that's it's just up to you to really like be focused and observe what it is that you actually can learn and take away from the experience. But at the end of the day, I never lost with any investment that I've made, and I've invested thousands of dollars into coaching programs and courses and events and all this different types of stuff. I've spent a lot of money on this stuff, I promise you, and it's been worth it. But I'll put it like this. All the money I've spent on, events, courses, all the like, it might not have always met my expectations, but I always walked away with something. Like I always walked away with some piece of information that I could take and use, and it would help me. And so what I'm encouraging you to do and think about is, how open are you to learning? And in learning, it's one of those things that you have to be honest with yourself and essentially pour the water out of your cup. Like, just be a student again, right? It's some people say, well, be a student. Others have said, well, get curious. I'm on the side of both. Like, really be a student and just get curious about stuff that you might have thought you knew. Like, I at one point thought I communicated very well. I knew tone. I know word sequencing. I know every word matters and everything like that. And that did serve me well for a time, for a season. But if I wanted to go to the next level, I knew that I needed to improve my learning. And so I had to become a student again when it comes to my communication. I needed to get curious again when it came to effectively communicating with people in a way that would really touch hearts and minds, as opposed to, oh, well, that guy's really articulate, right? Like, I needed to go deeper. And so I decided to, again, get curious. And for me, during the last 4 months, I've been super curious about systems in business. And that was my area. So what's yours? What's your area that you need to start getting curious about, so that way you can actually make the proper steps to learn? Because learning is fundamental. Learning is a nonstop game. Learning does not just happen in a classroom. Learning doesn't just happen in school or university or whatever the case may be. You're always learning. And so in that, with your ability to learn, you're going to really start seeing you're going to start seeing your perspective to life change as a result of the information that you're learning. But it does start with, step one of it is, like I said, getting clear on what it is that you actually want to learn. So if you want to get better at your job, identify, okay, I want to get better at this part of my job, right? If I were to go into an athletic scenario, right? If you want to squat more weight, well, then figure out, okay, how's my squat form? I need to get curious about, what's the right increment to increase my squat and different things like that. What are some other exercises I can do to strengthen my legs so that way my squat is better? Things like that. Like, it's just a matter of getting curious again. So figuring out, what is it that I actually want to learn to do better, right? What is that thing? But then also, what is the method in which I'm going to learn that thing, right? What's the method? Is it going to be a book? Is it going to be a conversation? Is it going to be a YouTube video? Just whatever it is. There's so many different ways to learn. We are in the information age. Like, you can literally go on your phone right now and pull up the most random fact ever on your phone. And you can use that to serve your purpose. You can use that to create the success that you want. But that's number one. It's learning. And then once you take that learning, then you're going to start seeing your perspective in your life shift. Now, what I will warn you, and I got a story that I want to tell you guys, what I will warn you is learning can only serve you to a point. Learning can only serve you to a point for the simple fact of sometimes, and this was a huge breakthrough for me. Like, it was a huge breakthrough for me, I would say, within the last month or so. And I'll tell you guys a story about it. But learning can only serve you for a certain amount of time. The reason being, you can always be looking to learn, but if you learn a whole bunch of stuff but never actually apply it in a real way, then you're not going to see any results. And that's the whole point of learning, right? You want to learn something new so you can actually apply it to actually get the results and get the outcome. And this was something that I fell into because I was heavy on watching YouTube videos, reading books, buying courses, investing, and it all was great. Like, there was really nothing wrong with anything that I was doing, because in my mind, it's like, well, I'm investing in myself, and this is what I have to do in order to get to the next level. I have to have the coaches and have the mentors and talk to this person and listen to that and it's like, it was great, but I started to notice I was getting stuck. Like, I started to notice, even with all the learning that I was doing with systems, implementing small little things in the systems, making the small tweaks that I had mentioned before, right? With my raising of my observations, right? Of really just saying, okay, I'm going to pay attention to see what other people are doing. But I started to notice, like, that momentum lasted for a little bit, for like probably a solid 2 months, but then it kind of just tapered off. Like, it kind of just plateaued for me. And I'm just like, that, like, I'm trying, like, it was one of those things where I was really just praying about it all. And I'm just like, God, what's going on? Like, I feel like I'm learning, but I'm not seeing much growth like I once did. I'm not having as many aha moments and everything like that when it came to the learning. Because one thing about it, like, one of my favorite feelings in the world is like when you learn something new and it's like just a bomb goes off in your head and it's like, whoa, it's like, oh my gosh, like, that's it. Like, it makes a whole bunch of sense. Like, how did I not think of this before, right? Like, I love those moments. But I started to notice, as I focused so much on my learning and all this different type of stuff, I wasn't having many of those moments anymore. And, again, like I said, I'm praying about it. And I'm just like, God, like, what do I do? And I remember I was speaking at this authors and speakers event. It was a really great event. I spoke. It was really awesome. If you guys want to hear it, let me know. Just leave me a comment or something like that, and I'll be sure to put that together for you. But it was a really, really good talk. But at the talk, I was at this place, and I was like I wasn't in a emotional place, but I was in a place where it's like something's got to give. Because the truth is, with where I am right now with business and just life in general, I'm in a place where, even with as disciplined as I am, as skilled as I am, as knowledgeable as I am, and I say that humbly, like, I say that just, with this current version of myself, with all my strengths and weaknesses and in-betweens, it's time for me to go to another level. And so I'm here at this event, and I meet this gentleman. I speak at this event, I do really well. Gentleman comes up to me, and he's, we're kicking it. He's talking to me about just like what he's doing, what he's got going on. And this dude, I mean, is making money hand over fist. Like he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars a month, running multiple businesses, cutting deals, cutting checks, just living the life. Like literally his life is on vacation. And, he's telling me about just all the things he has going on. And he offers me a position in one of his coaching programs. And, up until that point, I'm still trying to figure out, how do I crack the code to just my businesses? Like I've always felt like there's like one little thing that I need to tweak that will just change the complete trajectory, that will absolutely accelerate both Craft Your Dream and 10 Media. And I've been just trying to figure out what it was. But when we were having this conversation, he's telling me about his story, and he's telling me about just where he is, and he's telling me about his coaching program. I just, for some reason, I entered a mode of like, okay, I got to take the risk. And for all disclosure purposes, like his coaching program was $40,000. Like, let me be very clear. His coaching program was $40,000. And this, mind you, the most I had ever really, how much I had ever invested in something, I don't know. But be clear, $40,000 was like a huge commitment. It was a huge commitment. But I was of mine, because I'm like, you hear all these stories about people that, just overcome it, just make the investment, put it on the credit card. And I'm just like, oh my God, like something's got to give, just because, for me, I'm planning a wedding, right? Those are expensive. I have businesses that I'm trying to run, and it's like, I need something to work. Like there are things in just my life that I'm trying to accomplish. And not that I'm necessarily up against the clock or anything, but it's like I'm trying to get stuff done. And so he offers me this position. I take it, and I'm like, all right, like, this has to work. Like when you commit to something that's $40,000, it's like, this has to work. We're going to make this work. I don't care what happens. We've got to make this work. And so, I commit to it. It's like a business partnership or whatever. And, I'm like excited, because I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm going to get what I need, and it's going to help me break through. And so I show up to a couple meetings, and, I'm hearing just the great wealth of knowledge, like the great wealth of knowledge of, just what he's doing and how he's doing it, and what to look for, and how to build certain things and everything like that. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, like probably after like the third or fourth meeting. And I'm just like, I didn't need to do this. And, long story less long. After I had that moment, and he's explaining stuff to me, and like, granted, brilliant guy, but I hear, and I'm like, I could do this stuff. Like, yes, he's telling me what to do, but his line of thinking was not very different from my own. And that's where it hit me, where it's like, wait, and this is the second key element to creating success. I just need to actually like really start doing. Like, forget this learning stuff. I need to do stuff. Like, I need to just actually take actions within my own business, not taking actions of like investing in courses and books and all that type of stuff. Like, I need to take action with my thing. Like, I need to take massive action with my stuff and see how, like, get more information based off the action, as opposed to getting information from like coaching programs and stuff like that. And it was a real 180 for me, just because, again, I am all for self-improvement. I'm all for investing in self, learn, master skills, all this stuff. I'm all for it. But it was in that meeting where I was, again, I'm in a room with other people making six figures a month. Some people making six figures a day. Like all these high level entrepreneurs. And I'm in these calls, and I'm just like, man, these people think just like me. Like, and I don't say that in a way to like, downplay what they're doing or big up what I'm doing, but it's just like, wait, their line of thinking, like, they know what to think about just because they've had time at this. Like, these are entrepreneurs that are, 15, 20 years in the game. I've been an entrepreneur since 2019, technically. So like, there's still time for me. But as I'm hearing them describe the processes and the systems and all this different type of stuff, I just start realizing like, man, I just got to actually do this stuff. And it was such a breakthrough for me. And I was able to, I ended up having a conversation with him. I was like, hey, I can't really follow through on this commitment anymore. And he understood totally. And, it was all fine. But it was from that moment where I'm like, you know what? From this day forward, I'm not focusing on learning anymore. I'm going to really just apply this stuff that I know, gather the information from that application, and then we'll see where the chips may fall to see if I need to learn something else. Because and that's where I got that fire back. I had those more aha moments from actually applying the information, like actually applying the information I had already previously gotten. And it was, I'm telling you, it was the biggest aha moment where I'm just like sitting here listening and thinking after a couple of meetings, like, wow, I'm going to learn something that's going to blow my mind. I'm going to make money and it's going to be great. And I'm going to be able to impact people, all this great stuff. And as I'm sitting there in the meetings and like I would go after the call, I'd sit down to like do my work and I'm like, this is something I probably would have came up with on my own. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Now, I'm not going to do it with a $40,000 bill over my head, but I'm going to do this. Like, I am going to take action. And so the two important key elements to creating success, and I'm telling you just because this is the current season of life that I'm in, and maybe you are too, and so I hope this is helpful to you, is yes, number one, learning, because learning at the end of the day is super important. But the challenge that I'm making to you is not so much whether or not you're going to learn, because you should always learn. You should always be a student. You should always be curious. But I want to challenge you on the method in which you're learning, because you can get too deep into the rabbit hole of learning from books, learning from courses, learning from mentors, learning from coaches and everything like that. But you also can learn from your own experience, because your experience is the greatest teacher. And I've been able to experience massive success just within the couple months that I've been able to really learn from my experience, as opposed to learning from somebody else telling me what they did. But it stemmed from, again, me focusing on my own experience and really taking action. So that's number one, is learning. But also number two is taking action. Create an experience that will allow you to take information and apply it again. Like, it's almost like investing in yourself, just with yourself. Like, literally test it out. Like, if you feel like you need to go, you can go to another level in some area of your life, just do it. Get the information and see what tweaks need to be made. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars or even hundreds of dollars with anybody else to see if there's a change that needs to be made. And and this might sound, you might not have heard another coach say this to you, but I'm telling you, you have to create experiences that you can learn from. Create experiences, and even if you're wrong, even if, let's say, you make the wrong move, that's still information that you can use. That's still information that you can learn from. And like right now, I'm in a season, like I said, where I'm able to really apply all that I've been learning and really able to just go out and do it. Like, an easy example for me is, just the sales process. I've set up systems now within my businesses, but now my next focus has kind of been sales. And within sales, yeah, I can learn and listen to Alex Hormozy and listen to all these brilliant guys, Bradley, all these great guys, Grant Cardone, about sales and the conversation and how to overcome objections and all this different type of stuff. But at the end of the day, there is nothing like getting on a sales call with somebody, going at it, trying it, seeing what I can do, and then basically reassessing, I think I could have said this better. I think I led the conversation. Like, that's where the aha moments come in for me now, where it's, yeah, I can learn from those other people, but you know what? Let me also make sure that I'm applying this information and I'm learning from that too. So I hope that this was helpful to you, where you not only learn, but you also are learning from your own experiences and really taking action with whatever it is that you're learning, and apply this to any area of your life. Apply this to your finances, right? If you're somebody that, you've heard about the stock market, so to speak, and you're like, I don't really know, like, I've heard a whole bunch of stuff, just put some money in there and see. just try it out. Like, you might learn something. You might get an experience. And I'm not saying it, and please don't get financial advice from me. And I'm gonna bring some financial experts here on this platform, but I also got something else coming for you soon. But, just do something. Do something for yourself as opposed to somebody telling you what you should do all the time. It is valuable to hear from people. It's valuable to learn from other people, but make sure that you also are learning from your own experience, so that way you're not just always pouring water in your own cup, but then you're wondering why nothing's changing, because you're just always pouring in, but not seeing anything come out. So you actually got to apply this stuff. So like I said, I hope this is helpful to you. Those are the 2 key elements to creating success. Number 1, learning. Number 2, taking action. I hope that you really can apply this to your life in some way, shape, or form today, right now. Like, if you were caught in the whirlwind of always wanting to learn and not applying anything, I'm encouraging you, get out of that pattern. Take some action, even if you're unsure about it. If you are like 80% sure of it, just do it. It might work out. And that's all you need, is a chance. You just need the maybe. You just need the maybe this works. And if it works, it'll pay off. If it doesn't, you have information so you can try it again later. Okay? So do that. I appreciate you. Always remember, your dream is possible as long as you are willing to work for it. I'll see you guys next week.